What is up, holdovers? This is a quick message just before the podcast. Upon editing and publishing this podcast, we ran into a few copyright issues. So sadly, the intro part of this podcast has had to be removed. So I just wanted to introduce our guest since his actual intro was actually cut out. But yes, our guest today is Peyton North. He is Baton Rouge native. He is an artist, actor, musician. He is all of the above. He's an amazing guy. So yeah, thank y'all for watching and enjoy the podcast. You've probably seen him on your Instagram on the levee. This is how I found this guy. Funny story. I was just on Instagram scrolling, and then I kept passing this guy on the levee painting. Cool vibe. He's a very cool vibe, and so I'm like, whatever. Followed him a while ago, and then one day I just was, let me go look who this guy is. I get on the Instagram page, and he's with, I don't know if y'all know her, Jen Hogan. She's an actor. He's with her, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I know this lady. And I started looking, and I'm like, he's an actor. Like, he does film, and so I was like, well, I need a guest. So I literally, that night I had reached out. I think it was like later. I don't know what time it was. I just remember it was impulsive, and I'm like, I called my friend. I'm like, I don't know if it's creepy, but like, I kind of want this guy on here. Like, should I ask? And they're like, just text to see what he says. And so I did it, and now we're here, and so I'm so excited. So let's hop into some things. Let's hop into some conversations.
Let's do it.
So what made you know that you were into film? Because I want to start off with film, just because the podcast is film stuff. So yeah, what made you get into film? When did you know it was your calling or one of your callings?
Great question. I think it's definitely evolved over the years. Mm-hmm. At first, I wanted to get into it because I wanted to feel seen. Mm-hmm. I feel that not having a dad who was really present growing up, I wanted to hear what it sounds like to be heard, see what it looks like to be seen, feel what it feels like to be felt.
Yeah.
And I really resonated with Arnold Schwarzenegger and how he felt the same way, so he wanted to be as big as possible, be under the lights. And a lot of my early stuff was me trying to be seen and project like I wanted to be as big as possible. And then I had an epiphany a few years ago that's like, that's the ego of a hurt little boy that grew up.
Yeah.
And now my mission is to show people that you can be a good guy who makes it. I do my best to be a guy who never sells his soul and wants to inspire other people like, hey, you can do it. Whatever you think, if it's the music, if it's the painting, if it's the underwater basket weaving, whatever you want to do, go for it. All you got to do is just try it. And so that's really my whole philosophy. With the filmmaking, I got into it through making music videos and writing my own raps. And then I was like, oh, a script is just, lyrics without a beat.
Yeah.
And then come to find out, filmmaking has beats in it too.
Yeah.
And scripting has beats in it too. So
everything's storytelling in a way. So you start to find that out as you start to create stuff. You're like, oh, everything is just another way of storytelling something else. So
couldn't have said it better myself. It's storytelling. Yeah. So it's like the story within the story of who you are, creating the story. Yeah. What are we creating? And then the bigger picture you zoom into is, as magnifying as you want to get. And there's always a story within that story.
Okay, and so as far as when you started, when did you start, when did you first dabble into acting? When was the first time that you had, done it? And how was that experience for you as far as nerves and stuff? Because I know that's a very that's a very scary moment. I'm not going to lie. I know my first time I was freaking out. So
I think, so I, had shot music videos prior to that where, I'm the focal point of that. So that's kind of acting, but it's really just jumping around, having the most fun,
being a fool,
and just enjoying the moment. But it's acting, filmmaking side was, we were just talking about this, probably NCIS New Orleans. I saw the casting to go to be an extra, and I was like, I made it. This is my big break.
Here we go, Mom.
And I get down there. There's 3,000 people there. And we're getting on this bus to go to, I think, the Orpheum Theater to, be background extras in this thing. They hand me a gold star before I get on the bus. And I'm like, what does this mean? Oh, my God, it's destined. And then I sat there for 12 and a half hours in the way back, never just free food, and phone died 20 minutes in. Just enjoying it and saw that.
That happened to me I was on, Allie Clark was filming here with the one with Viola Davis they filmed a few weeks ago. My phone died early on. We were shooting outside. I was itchy. It was overnight. I was ready to die. I had the
living
same
the dream.
Yeah, just living the dream. That's my thing. So I really relate to that on like, but then you feel like a star because it's just star. Like soon enough, whenever you're really making it, you're gonna be able to look back and say, oh, I started with just getting on the bus with a little star that I thought meant something, but now I actually have something cool. So
yeah. And then speaking of, shout out to Jency Hogan, Jency and Aaron Hogan. I wanted to take acting seriously, filmmaking seriously, and learn pretty early on that if you build your own table, you never have to fight for a seat.
Yeah.
So the best way to get the roles that I wanted was to write it myself.
Yeah.
Direct it myself and do the whole thing. I learned that from the music videos, and then it translates perfectly to the acting. It's like whatever you want to communicate, find the people that best help you do that. And Jency, one time I met her at a filmmaking or an art show or something like this, and she's like, I'm really looking for somebody to, take the reins on a project that I can kind of just oversee. And I was like, hey, Peyton North, nice to meet you. And I have to give so much of the credit to my early beginnings of like just a budding actor to her and her husband, Aaron, because they believed in me enough to help me write my first scripts and shoot my first short film, Bet Don't Fold, on YouTube. And that was my first experience writing a script, figuring out a shot list, looking for locations.
Wow, so you
casting
did everything.
And they helped me.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did every single part of it and learned what the real process is of like what kind of camera lens are we using for each shot and going down all of it. And we shot it in 3 nights, all night from 4 p.m. to 6 a.m., 3 nights in a row, and such a spiritual experience. And that was what gave me quality footage of myself to show somebody to say, I could be in your film.
You can use me. It's beautiful because it's like it takes that one person that believes in you to go and spur and to go meet more people and more. Because I say all the time on here, like as a person who's currently going to LSU, who's majoring in film and theater, the useless majors as they like to call it. And so
who calls it the useless majors?
People call. I don't look.
Do you think it's useless?
Sometimes I'm not going to sit here in front. Sometimes I think it is because I think that I'm not. I think that some of the stuff I'm learning, I could have learned by Googling it. Or I could have learned from just getting on TikTok or something. And that's because we have technology now. We have things where you can look this stuff up. And I've done the research. I've already know about film. And so sometimes when you already know stuff and you're in that class, you're like, I know everything you're saying, it makes you feel like this is useless. But not all the time. There's been classes where I'm like, oh, this is all new information. I'm going to go out and be a better person in the film industry because of this. So yes, I will say that I don't truly believe it, but I'm easily skilled on it. Like if someone starts to get in an argument on it and they're winning it, okay.
So I understand, not the understanding of film and theater is useless, but how you feel like sometimes the curriculum may be redundant to resources you can easily find on your own.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because I'm getting connections. This is the things they say a lot of the times that film school is about connections. I'm getting connections. I'm meeting people. And I'm also just being able to confirm certain things that I didn't fully know, but I knew about. We all know about film, but like there's things that I just wanted to go more in depth about, I guess. But I don't know. That's such a tricky thing because I go back and forth on it a lot. On what? On is it useless? Is film school useless? Is it not? But if you really ask me, I'm gonna go with no. I think that there are things that it's getting to me. Some classes, you will spend the full semester talking about beginning, middle, and end. You're gonna have to deal with it, I think. But I do understand people's point of view on it when they say that. I get offended, yes, I do. But yeah.
I never went to formal film school or any type of like formal education.
Okay.
So I can't personally speak on the same experience.
Yeah.
However, I think anything that you learn is useful or useless whether or not you apply it. So walking into a gym with the goal of, getting in shape but not picking up any weights or not working out, then it's pretty useless.
Yeah.
Or it's like taking everything that you could learn, even if it's redundant, and figuring out, okay, how can I apply this?
Yeah.
And how can I actually go do it? Because if
Your perspective is crazy. It's so insane. That's crazy. Keep going.
if you just learn it all and acquire all this knowledge but never actually apply it, then it's useless.
It's useless if you don't use it. You have to use
to make it useful.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Oh my gosh. Sorry. I was upon getting on your Instagram page, I was finding the way you speak about things kind of really opens minds, and really has this optimism that I was just so interested in, because I'm such a optimistic person, and I've been losing it recently, and I don't know if it's my recent life experiences or what it is. But you said something on your Instagram page. It was I think the most recent thing you posted. You said you can't mess up on a painting.
No.
And you said you can't do that, and I'm like okay. So I'm listening to the video. I'm like, okay, cool. And I wanted to see, like, what would you say about, can you apply that to life? Do you think that there's no way to truly mess up in life, but only learn? Because I think I'm a person who believes that. Do you think that you can apply that painting metaphor type of thing to actual real life?
Yeah, 100%.
Okay.
So for people that don't know, the
I'll play a clip,
concept
by the way,
is that there's no such thing as messing up. It's just if you made a mistake, it's just part of the story you didn't see coming yet.
Mm-hmm.
And so embrace it, enjoy it. That's what makes it interesting. It's like that analogy or that story of if you found a book that was your entire life story, and you found out, like, as you're reading it, this is my whole life story, and then you're seeing, like, it's going to tell you where you die at the end, would you actually finish reading the book, or would you say, no, I want to close the book so I can experience it for the first time, because I don't want to know what's going to happen, because that's the exciting.
Yeah.
That's the exciting part.
That's the part that makes it cool.
Yeah, is the unknown, the serendipity of it.
Yeah.
And so, yes, for painting, if I accidentally spill all the paint on something that I've been working on, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I did not mean to do that. Mm-hmm. You know what? That's the part of the story I didn't see coming yet.
Yeah.
And then you figure out how to evolve that. Because at the end of the day, creation is just a byproduct. Like, the painting is just a byproduct of my journey.
Yeah.
And so the journey is developing on its own. So who am I to try to micromanage the journey?
Right, yeah.
Just let it be. And then let the painting tell me when it's finished.
Yeah.
And discover it. So, yeah, to answer your question, absolutely. In life, in filmmaking, if when you had a perfect shot list and you did all the, like, the pre-work to it, and then you get on set and you're like, hey, but we should totally use this instead. We didn't, see that coming.
Yeah.
Why would you say, no, that's not part of the plan?
This is not it, yeah.
Go with the flow.
Yeah.
Create in the moment. And so that's the whole point of pre-production to begin with, is that you, like, for an essay, you create an outline so that whenever you're flowing, that you have all the points that you need to hit, but that you can create freely in the moment while you're there.
See, yeah, you saying that's beautiful. Shout out to Michael Cole. I'm about to tell a story. But I was on one of my friend's little short films he was doing. It was called Diet Sugar. And I was on set. I had, like, 2 lines. I had a little small part. I was playing, like, a husband that ignored his wife all the time, the stereotypical thing. And there's a line that his wife says, and she says, he's ignoring her, and she says, "Are you gay or something? Are you gay or are you just deaf?" And, like, she's asking him that. And so I'm sitting on set. I'm like, I feel incomplete. Like, that was the only scene I had. I go to Michael Cole. I said, it's not done. I said, I need to come back. And then, so in the film, what happens is that the wife pretty much watches, it's so random. The wife watches a naked guy cutting grass, pretty much. That's the film. I can show you. It's the weirdest film ever, but I love it. And so I'm like, guess what? She's asked if he's gay. I said, at the end, I had the husband looking at the man. At the husband looking out the window, watching him because he's gay. She asked, okay, he's gay, but she doesn't know. And so that small moment became such a big thing. At the film festival, it showed that it was the funniest thing. It was the part that everybody can stop talking about. It was the part that everybody laughed at. And so creating in the moment allows this loyalty to you of the new version of you, I think. Because when you wrote that script, that was a different you. When you're on that set, that's a different you. So you're allowing the past you to also shine while allowing the new you to also shine. And I always say, and Michael Cole told me this too, if you have a good idea and you're on a set, pitch it. Maybe they may want you. I'm not saying, like, if Viola Davis is on set and you're like, oh, Viola, you should try that. Don't do that. But, like, as far as being
on
not?
Spot. If it's a great idea, why not?
I don't know. Why not? That is the question. Why not? I would never. It depends on the film, I guess. If it's like a comedy, maybe. As far as whenever I was working on the Allie Clark, it was more serious stuff going on, serious scenes. And so I would have. She was in her zone. She was locked in. I didn't want to touch. But I think maybe like, if it was a comedy, maybe I could, and maybe they credit me, pay me money more. I don't know.
I just 2 weeks ago finished my second feature film, which was directed by Kevin Sorbo, who he played Hercules in the 90s.
Ooh,
and he was
that's awesome.
He was also like a lead character with me, and is written by Carrie Seymour, also an amazing person who helped me get my start. But something that he would do is we'd read the script and he's like, okay, what should you add to it? Or like, what do you want to take away? And so the script is purely just a guideline.
Yeah.
It's like, this is the points that we need to hit, but make it sound natural. Make it sound like you and your character. You know your character better than anyone else here. So have fun with it. And then the best scenes are the ones where you're just flowing, where you're not trying to like say it in the, you're not trying to just hit that one comma because it's written there. You're just flowing naturally as a person. And that was some of the best advice that his wife, Sam Sorbo, who's on set, gave me. It was like, the best thing to do as an actor is not try to act. It's just try to connect with Kevin in the room as a person.
Be there,
and let that energy just resonate and reverberate. And then that's going to create an electrifying scene.
Yeah. I agree with that. I did my first acting class last semester for a class, and just eye-opening, because I'd never been professionally trained in acting. I had never had any of this, and so going into the semester, I had just gotten to a play, and I was like, it was a lead, my first lead ever. I had a bunch of lines. I'm like, whoa, like I was freaking out, and so I think it was a blessing to actually be in that class while I was in there, and also it was my teacher was in the same play, and so it was a lot of things guiding me and helping me through, but acting class has helped me so much. And
why did you feel like you were freaking out?
I freaked out when I first got casted. It was when I first got casted, and it was the night, the like opening night. Whenever like right before I was walking on, I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is it, like this is the time. And like the thing with film and theater that gets me is that like with film, you can somewhat like you have redos.
Yeah.
But then with theater is like, okay, if you mess up, if you do whatever, that audience remembers. You can't be like, hey, y'all messed up tonight. Come back Tuesday. I'm gonna do it again. No. They're here. You have to do it. And so I think a lot of my fear, it wasn't even so much that I was judging myself or being scared. It was just like the anxiety of messing up. And so there came a show where I did mess up. I forgot a line because I had a billion monologues, and I'm like, oh my goodness. And so I freeze up, and then after I get off, I'm like, that wasn't bad. Okay, whatever. Like, I messed up. So
that is right there. The perfect theater is probably a better representation of, if you spill all the paint on the painting, it's part of the story.
Yeah.
If you forget a line, then you figure it out. And now it's going. Unique. And now it's not just like, oh man, we messed up a line, we should get it right again, which, yeah, sure, in theory. But now you made that show different than every other show, and you kept it rolling. And how much confidence you have in your intention of who you are and what you're doing will determine if that actually, if you pull it off.
If it works, and it did. So would you ever do theater?
I did one play as Prince Eric like 2 years ago in The Little Mermaid for like 1,000 third graders.
Wow.
And that was my only real theater experience as an adult, and I freaking loved it. I had so much fun doing it.
So fun, yeah. There's a thrill, and there's an energy in the audience, because sometimes you have a dead audience, but like whenever they're excited to be there and they're truly like ready to see you perform, you can feel the energy, you can feel the excitement, and that's part of why I wanted to pick between film and theater at some point, and I ended up picking both because I'm like, there's an energy that both of them provide, and the thrill that I get from both that I need, that I just need, and I love theater. I love it so much, and I couldn't let it go. But theater's so fun. Which one is easier for you?
I haven't had that much experience. I've had experience like performing music on stage, but as far as theater with rehearsed lines, not as much. I think that you shouldn't pick. You should do both. Yeah. And if they both, I moved to New York about 3.5 years ago, and I just moved back to Louisiana 2 weeks ago. Okay. So I've lived there for the last 3.5 years.
You just got back here.
Yeah. Like the day that we started filming the movie, the day before that I moved back.
Wow.
And going to Broadway shows, I was like kind of sleeping on them at first and was like, yeah, that's cool, like whatever. But then whenever I went to my first Broadway shows, there is something so primal, so spiritual about them. You know, it's like what I think about it as is like Native Americans dancing around a campfire and the energy they're conjuring, the soul, the spirit. It's like, yeah, there's just people dancing around a fire. No. There's so much more to that. The energy that's being cultivated in that room and being shared with the audience is unique. It's an experience. Every show is different. And being able to actually see how incredible those productions are is I leave feeling so inspired every single time.
Yeah. So it's I just love it so much. And there's so much to it, and for me, I think there was a point where I was like just like anti-theater. And I had just a pretty bad experience in high school. I've talked about this on here before, but I had a bad experience with the theater in high school. It was okay. I did it because I loved it, but
what was the experience?
I found that I had directors that didn't care about me. They knew that I can help them in different ways, and so they kept me around for those reasons. They didn't keep me around for the true reasons, I think. And I think that they would, put me in the shows to keep me around. They knew that was the only way to keep me around if I was doing the plays, and because they were taking advantage of the fact that I loved it. Like a situation that happened to me was she had made me think that I was getting a role. I was the only, like, the way she would cast was kind of like she lets you be the only one auditioning pretty much. So once you're casted, she's like, okay, Karen can read for this again. Karen can read for this again. That means you have it. And so I'm thinking I got it, and I'm excited. And I knew at the time she needed me to make a video for us, to edit videos for us. I was a videographer. So I was like, okay, I was in the midst of doing this while we're getting casted. I sent the video, and the next day she calls one of my other buddies up there. She says, hey, can you read for this role? The one I've been reading for. And I'm like, okay, whoa. And so he goes up, he reads once, gets it. And I'm like, at first I'm like, okay, she's seen something, the director's vision. Same school year, I wrote and directed a play. I like to write plays too. And so I wrote, directed it. I paid for everything. I paid for everything on my own. I really I don't even know where I got this money from. I truly don't, but I did all this cool stuff for it, and I was ready. Day before the show, I just started getting this weird vibe. I have a really bad feeling in my stomach. I'm like, something's off, and I couldn't figure it out. I just didn't know, and I said, no. It's fine, whatever. I'm overthinking. I'm just nervous about tomorrow. She pulls me in the office. She cancels the show. No reason. She gives me no reason, nothing, and so I just was left with it. And so for me, I was heartbroken more so because I'm like, I've given so much.
So what was the reason she gave?
There wasn't a reason.
She just said, I'm going to cancel the show because I don't like it?
She said that we weren't ready. I know that wasn't true because the show was small. We didn't have costumes. So there was no aspects of anything that she could have said, oh, no, this isn't ready. And so then it became a thing where I went to the office because I was crying, and so I go to the office, and they're like, okay, well, she wasn't making any sense, and I don't know. I don't know why she canceled it. I know that her doing that, the reason that I don't know, it doesn't matter to me, I know that it made me stop liking theater. I know that it made me want to give up. And it made me not want to try anymore. Because all those years I had given so much, give, and this was the one thing I wanted. I wanted to direct the play. I wanted people to see it, and for it to be lit on fire, ready to go, and then someone puts it out. I was done. In senior year, I did one play. I was like, okay, that's all. I wasn't involved. I didn't make any videos. I didn't do anything. I came to college. I just did film. I didn't want anything to do with it anymore. And so it found me. Theater found me again. I know that it's meant.
Yeah. So when did the love come back? Where did it come back?
So LSU theater, we do like general auditions, which is just like you do 2 monologues, and then they'll let you know if they want you for any of the plays for the season, and so they'll just email you. And so first semester I did it, didn't get anything. I was like, whatever, I don't care. Second semester I auditioned and got into like 2 plays, and I was like, okay, that's weird. Like whatever, like sure, I'm
like maybe I'm a little good at this.
Maybe I'm good. So I go and I do it, and like. I performed that first play, the one I was talking about earlier, I was so nervous about, and people were so proud, and people were just so moved, and I was moved. I was like, oh my gosh, like I did that. Like I made you feel those things. I was getting text messages after, and so I just was like, oh my goodness, I did that, and it made me feel so good. And so even like I had my mom posted this really nice post on Facebook where it was super sweet, and she's always supported me on everything I've done, but I know that she had concerns about me ever doing theater in college or doing it after high school. And so to see her support it and like wholeheartedly be like, oh my gosh, he's good at this. Like he truly is good. It was enough for me to say like, yeah.
You know what?
Like this is it, you know?
I don't know your relationship with the teacher that canceled it, obviously.
Yeah.
Not very close, probably.
Not that close anymore, no.
If I were you, I'd be so thankful for her. Because she proved that she actually could not take your shine.
Yeah.
You can't blend when you're born to shine.
Yeah.
And so she tried to put you out a couple different times.
Yeah.
And you found your way back. Your soul resonated to go back to what you love.
Yeah.
And then it created a fire of like, nah, this is what I love.
This is it. Yeah. Like
so without that adversity, without that obstacle to overcome, maybe you would have done the show and it would have been like, yeah, it's okay. And then like you kind of stop after that. Maybe not. Maybe you would have been, you know, on the same trajectory you are now.
Yeah.
But that adversity and that obstacle is often God will put those in your life to see how good do you really want this.
I'm talking to a preacher right now. I feel like I'm talking to a preacher. This is crazy. Yeah.
Not how bad do you want it? How amazing do you want it?
Yeah.
And then it's like what something felt like was taken away from you. Mm-hmm. You can't take that. You can't take soul away from you. You can't take passion away. Mm-hmm. Somebody can try to, you know, not this past Sunday, but the Sunday before that, I actually got baptized.
Mm-hmm. I see. Congratulations.
Thank you. And it was an 18-year-old preacher from New Jersey. Mm-hmm. And what he said that really changed my life, I had no intention of going to get baptized there, was the enemy is happy when you only have sparks. Mm. Because when you have sparks, it makes you think like, yeah, this is kind of enough, but you don't have a fire.
Yeah.
If you don't have a fire, then you don't have a light.
Yeah.
And if you don't have a light, then you're in the dark.
Yeah.
And so sparks just make you think that you're kind of just passing through life. But I was like, I want to feel alive again.
Yeah.
I want to feel ignited. And so anytime somebody has ever tried to take away my shine or your shine, the way that I look at that is somebody, that is God, spilling the paint on the canvas and saying, now figure it out, enjoy
it. Out, yeah.
Enjoy the journey, watch it develop.
Yeah.
Because now you're living it. Because it didn't go as planned. You had your plan, but God's plan was different.
Yeah.
And now look at you, where you are, doing a podcast for filmmaking, theater.
Yeah.
Would you ever have that? Like, if you didn't have that adversity, you wouldn't have that ignition to freaking do this maybe right now. Mm-hmm. And here we are.
And here we are, right here now. That's beautiful. Like, generally, that's moving to me because, you know, with my relationship with God, I think I lack trust sometimes. I lack knowing that I know He has a plan. I know that there's bigger and better things. And so, especially in that moment, especially in that time of like just feeling low, I guess, at that point and feeling like a failure, I wasn't thinking about it much. I was just like, oh, this is what I get. You know, there's a lot of people out there that start to question God whenever something bad happens, you know, something like that. And so I was that person, but even this moment right now, I feel like it's just stronger. It's made it stronger to me that there's a plan. Trust it. It happened for a reason. Do what you need to do to feel better in the moment and know that something bigger, something amazing is being painted for you. And that's crazy. That's,
a mindset that changed my life, or a quote that was like, if you ask for strength, God's not going to just give you strength. He's going to give you something a situation where you have to be strong in. Yeah. If you ask for patience, He's not going to just give you more patience. He's going to give you a situation that requires patience. Yeah. So it's like, if you're asking for, how do I become better at whatever it is, like whether it's directing or acting or life or, being a man or anything you want to improve on, and you pray for that, then you're going to receive challenges and temptation and tests that show you who you are, where you are in that journey, and you have the ultimate free will to always choose better for yourself. And sometimes there's like these sobering moments where you think that you're ready for something. You're like, no, I'm for sure ready for it. And then something comes along that's a distraction, and you kind of I get distracted. And it's like, oh man, I wasn't as ready. I wasn't as focused as what I thought because I just got that easily distracted. That's another thing is that, I used to want to say yes to everything. And I had to learn that in many ways, saying yes to everything makes your main focal point less respected.
Yeah.
Like, you have to respect what your focus is. And like, even, you reached out to me serendipitously to do this, but this is like, I felt your energy. I felt your intention. This is pure. This is positive. Yeah, I'd love to be a part of it.
Yeah.
But as far as spreading yourself too thin, to respect your true goals and respect what you're focused on, sometimes you do have to say, nope, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. I'm focused on this.
Yeah.
Because this has my attention. This is what I'm called to do.
And I've been working on that too. I've been working on no. I've been working because that's such a, and you seem to have had problems with it in the past too, but that's such a big thing. And for some people, like, it's not. Sometimes it's just like, no, that's it. And so for me, it was harder for me to use the word no. It was harder for me to do that. And I'm still working on it, but I've gotten better.
I think it's the intention behind it.
Yeah.
Am I saying no because I'm scared of this? I'm saying no because I'm focused on something else that has my full attention.
That has it. That
so understanding why you're saying what you're saying determines the worth of it.
Yeah. Okay, let's hop into more film stuff because it's gonna turn into church up in here.
Hey, come on, amen.
Look, we gotta keep going a little bit. I had some other things I wanted to talk about.
Let's do it.
So you were in a film called The Ribbon.
Yeah,
I did watch it last night.
Oh, nice.
I like The Ribbon actually. It's funny. I immediately knew it was shot in Louisiana. Without knowing anything, which you were in another podcast where you said it was in Louisiana. If you didn't say it, I would have already knew this was shot in Louisiana. Louisiana it just has a look. That when I seen that first shot of that church, I'm like, oh, Louisiana. There's like 10 in Zachary that look just like that. So I'm like, yeah, that's Louisiana. But the film was good. I did enjoy watching it. I don't know the budget of it, but it felt like it was like, I don't know if they were in other people's houses or not, but do you know anything of the budget of it? Because I couldn't read it. I feel like it would have been a bigger budget, but I couldn't really tell if it was more so just friends kind of, hey, can I record at your mom's house? Hey, can I record it at your job? Do you know the vibe of it, or were you just there to act?
I'll say this, that the best parts about filmmaking in Louisiana and anything that happens in Louisiana, shout out to the Cajun Navy when the flood happened, people get in their own boats and go save you.
Yeah.
Is whenever there's something creative or something in Louisiana that can be built upon by others, everybody gives all their resources to make it work. It wasn't just a mom and pop film. It was a feature film that had a budget behind it. I don't know the exact number, to be honest with you. But I think that's one of the best parts that I've experienced working in Louisiana versus other places that if there's ways for people to contribute and add to it, then people do.
Yeah. And so how was it preparing for The Ribbon? Because I enjoyed your character a lot. And I don't know if someone told you this before, but I think you were shape-shifting in the movie. And when I say that, I mean that your character, he plays a character named Bo. Pretty much this, I don't know how to describe him. He's a deadbeat type of guy. He's not treating his girlfriend the best, And so what I found with people like that is that they're immature. They're these shape-shifting creatures where they're they're 10 years old in this moment, they're 15 in this moment, they're back to their normal age in this moment. I found that you did that perfectly in the film. I can see how in different scenes you were shape-shifting and how you were in the bar. I feel okay, this is the, whatever, 25, whatever year old in the film. But in other moments, I can see whenever he was asking about the milk, I'm oh, he's 10 years old right now. And to have that happening made the character have so much depth to me, and I was like, oh gosh, what version am I gonna get of you right now? And so I always appreciate whenever I start to hate a character, when I truly start to be bro, get off screen. And I was having that with them, oh my gosh. And so I won't spoil what happened, but I know that at the end I was like, what's going on? What? I was going crazy, but you did such a beautiful job. So how was it preparing for a character like that first, because he was not a nice guy? So how was it preparing for that, and how did it affect you as far as just the filming?
Bo is an interesting guy because Bo was terrified to be a dad and then realized that he got his girlfriend pregnant. He's living in a trailer park, working his job. This girl just got pregnant, wants him to pay for her to go to school, and he's you got to get a job and get an abortion. I'm not helping you.
Right.
And Bo is scared to be a dad because his own dad abused him and wasn't there for him. And now he's faced with the reality that he has to now fill those shoes of the guy that he hated. and he's scared.
Yeah.
And so it all comes down to being scared. And so for me, filming that, whenever I was young, I didn't necessarily want to be like my dad or didn't want to be like my stepdad, and promised that I would be the exact opposite of them when I grew up.
Yeah.
And in many ways, if the only example that you have is, who they are, if you say, I'm going to be the opposite of you, but I'm only around you, then you're going to naturally take on those characteristics. And so in so many ways, I understood Bo and resonated with him of that he's scared to grow up. He's scared to accept his own, a lot of people get older, but they don't grow up.
Yeah.
And so he's, at that point in his life where you gotta make a decision. You're either going to be a deadbeat forever, or you're going to be a stand-up guy. And you're faced with the decision of fatherhood, which will define that.
Yeah.
And so for me, I had to really prepare I had to get real with myself. And especially for some of the domestic violence scenes of, like screaming at each other, or some things that, I had experienced growing up that I really pushed away, and always tried to use that as fuel to create a better situation for myself. But having to open Pandora's box, I'd have to go to the bathroom like before some of those scenes and say, okay, Peyton, when you open this box, you're about to open all the things that 10-year-old you has shoved down, that you put on a mask and you project that it doesn't bother you. And you don't always think about it on a conscious basis, but deep down, when no one's watching, those things.
You're unlocking those true, real, raw emotions that were hiding in there. Yeah.
And so it's like, what's the point? Well, I'm about to open up all my childhood trauma right here in front of these people on camera.
Yeah.
And what's the intention behind that? It's to share a story bigger than myself, so that once I do that, Peyton, once you open that up, that's your therapy. Now that you release that, and it's going for a bigger picture. My whole goal behind anything creative is I want to create conversations. That whole movie it's a pro-life film, and it's about, I love that movie because it gives people a conversation to have at their dinner table whenever they leave about, pro-life, abortion, stuff like that. And so for me, I had to make a deal with myself that as soon as this scene is over, you're free. And that was my experience for most of it.
Okay. So it was healthy, though. So you had a healthy relationship as far as clocking into the character, clocking back out of what was happening in the moment.
Yeah, I don't know if I would look at it as clocking into the character. I always find that the characters are just a different version of myself.
Yes, that's true. Yeah.
And so it's like I'm going to explore this, your acting is not faking. I looked at it as an actor is just short for action taker.
Yeah.
So you're, making decisions based on certain circumstances, based on certain mindsets of that character that you're playing. And so it's like I took Peyton and turned him into Bo.
Yeah.
And I always have a piece of Bo, and Bo always has a piece of Peyton. Yeah. And that's kind of how I look at that. It's all about perspective, because I really, in some of those scenes, especially the scene where I really freaked out.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, yeah.
She's like, okay, I want you to freak out now. And I was like, it was Carrie Seymour, the director.
Yeah.
I was like, are you sure? Are you ready for this? And she's like, we're just going to rehearse it. And I was like, we should roll on this.
Yeah.
She's like, no, don't, just do it. And so I did it, and shattered like glass, like beer bottles, shattered different like portraits, and broke some stuff accidentally. Yeah. And everybody's like, oh shit.
Okay. That was real.
like we should, now let's do it back. And I had to find a positive way to look at that. Because I left those scenes with my blood pressure, like I just had to go do push-ups and breathe, because I was so stressed out from some of those scenes. And so I had to make a deal with myself of how is this positive that's healing and therapeutic. Yeah. And that's what I came up with.
Yeah, see, in theater, they have a thing where, like, because the play I did back in January my character had a panic attack in the end, and, like, some days a panic attack didn't happen, but I felt it building. Like, I felt an actual panic attack coming up. And so do this thing where like you even like you tap yourself, you're like, okay, I'm real, I'm human, like this is Kyra and this is not the character. Or like we'll do I think my the acting teacher would say, I'm an actor, this is not real, this is my work, this is what I do, and like you hug yourself, and like that's something that I have to do sometimes where I'm like, okay, this isn't real. And it wasn't all the time, but I know definitely for that show, first time having to scream on stage and have this serious scene, I definitely had to like take advantage of these type of things, because you don't want to get lost in the character. You don't want to get lost in the feeling, because you're doing a good job, but the feelings are real. But you want to make sure that you're doing a healthy job of taking care of yourself too. And that's something I had to pick up on when I did that play too. Yeah, I did want to hop into what should I talk about first? Okay, let's talk about Best Kept Secret. So if you guys do not know, he also makes music. He's, like I said, multi-talented. I have on this sheet like 3 times, multi-talented. He is multi-talented. He does several things. I listened to some of your music yesterday. And I don't even listen to rap like that. Like my friends watching, they know I very much am like indie stuff. Like that's kind of why I'm in Kelly's shoe. This is more of an indie thing. So not really my vibe. And so like hopping into it, I'm like, okay, take out this, let's put these in, let's see what's going on. This one really stuck out to me. Best Kept Secret stuck out to me, and I wrote down here, I said it felt like an ode to freedom and to life and how it should be. And I think I knew our conversation today was going to be very much you like pastoring me. I already knew based on everything I was getting from just your stuff. I put poetic rapper. It just felt like it was constantly like, you know how Martin Luther King spoke, how he talked with this, like every word, like connecting. That's what it felt like when you were rapping. I felt like I was learning something as you were going, and so I'm just sitting there like, I'm like, this is good. And the meaning was going, and I was just picking up on everything. So can you tell me more about like creating that song, creating songs in general, maybe like whatever more you want to talk about as far as your music and Best Kept Secret in general?
Thanks for saying that.
Yes, of course.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Best Kept Secret is a love letter. Best Kept Secret is a love letter to a person, but also a love letter to yourself. The best kept secret is that you're chosen and you're special.
Wow.
That's the lyric in the song.
It, yeah.
That's the best kept secret.
Yeah.
And so, man, it's a freedom of soul. That's it.
Yeah.
Is like, who is your soul?
Yeah.
Why is your soul? And that's like what I've always wanted to expand on and discover.
Yeah.
Whenever I was 8 years old, everybody in third grade was like, I can't wait till I'm 16. I can't wait till I'm 18 or 21.
Yeah.
And then we had a business, a horseback riding business that I grew up on. And everybody that was older was like, I would do anything to be 8 years old again. I would do anything to be whatever age again. And I saw this. Everybody that's old wants to be young, and everybody that's young wants to be old, but nobody wants to be present.
Yeah.
So I made a deal with myself at 8 years old that I will enjoy the present moment of where I am, no matter when I am, no matter who I am, no matter what or why I am, and enjoy it and make the most of it. Because once it's gone, once this life is gone, I think that we are reborn into a new life. I think you just wake up in a new one. Yeah. Whether you're a goldfish, whether you're a star, whether you're a piece of dust, an algae, whatever. You're just now new life, or you go back into the star that you came from. I don't know.
You know.
It's freedom of soul. That's the whole point. I create anything, is that it's free. What is that feeling of amazing freedom of I'm alive, speaking life?
Yeah.
That is the best kept secret for me. That's why I do everything I do.
Dude, I want to live your life. Not literally, but like in a sense of really living in the moment and being proactive in like what you're thinking. Like we all want to, live in the moment, but for your soul to allow you and your body to allow you to really do it, it's motivating. I think it's gonna touch some of the listeners to make them be like, oh my goodness, like let's be more like this. Let's worry less. Let's have fun. And I think with me, something else that I've recently found out about myself is that I get upset when we're on vacation and someone's like taking pictures every 3 seconds. I hate it, and I couldn't figure out why, because, they're captivating the moment. They want to look back on this. I want to look back on it, too. Thank you for the picture, but I still started to find that it was, like, taking me out of it. It was taking me out of the moment to do that, and so recently I went to, you know where Grand Isle is? And, I went to Grand Isle. I went on the spring break trip, and so I dephoned. I said, no phone. I said, I'm going to get a camera. So I'm going to video everything. Let's see if this feels different. Do I feel less guilty about this? And so it did something for me.
It's interesting you use the word guilty.
Say what?
It's interesting you use the word guilty about taking pictures. You feel guilty when you take photos because it takes you out of the present moment?
Yeah, it does. I do feel guilty. I feel like it just takes me out of it, and then I'm like, I don't know. But, so, it depends on the moment. How special is the moment, I will say, because, graduation,
take a photo.
I'm taking a photo, but I'm also in the moment because, I took the photo, and then I started jumping up and down because, I just graduated. But, I think in certain moments, it deters me. It takes me, out of it in a weird way. I just don't know how to describe it. I just know that on that trip it felt different. And videoing everything made me feel closer to the moment. And watching, I made a collage of the video, I edited, put some cool songs on it, and that gave me a little more fulfillment than the pictures. And that's just me. I don't know why. I think I've always had that, especially in recent years, as far as just my body reacts to change, and college is one of the biggest changes you're having. You're moving out of the house, you have all this stuff going on, and so I'm still actively dealing with certain things, with myself, that I'm just wow, this is hard, but I think it helps. The being in the moment helps a little bit and helps me feel a little more human, because I lose that sometimes. Feeling human, sometimes I'm just okay, robot, gonna go to work, gonna go do this and that, and so that stuff helps me be in the moment. And that could just be me. I think that there's I know people that can be truly in the moment, who can take pictures, who can do all this stuff. But I know that for me, that it's not always like that. So,
Yeah. I like feeling guilty. That's interesting about that because you're kind of robbing yourself of the present moment of that. You're worried about hey, stand right here, look like this, then you look at the picture, and then you think about what are other people on Instagram going to perceive me about this.
Can I post this? Yeah.
You're not even living anymore in the moment. Mm-hmm. What's that quote that depression lives in the past, anxiety lives in the future, peace only exists in the present. That's why it's a gift.
Yeah. Wow, yeah, that's true. And
so it's so easy to get on autopilot, like you said, where you're just going through the motions.
Just doing it, yeah.
You ever take a drive and then you get there and you're like, I don't even remember driving here.
When did I get here? Whoa, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's happened to me before, and it's weird, and it's also it's hard to control it, I think. At least for me, I just don't know how in control am I of that. Sometimes it just happens. I do feel disconnected. And is that depression? Depression, maybe it could be. I don't know. But I know that sometimes I do feel disconnected from the moment. And that's something I've also been trying to do, just be in the moment, stop worrying about what's going to happen. And so, I'll hand clap to myself today. I wasn't anxious about today. I wasn't anxious about, oh my gosh, is it going to be nice? What's the vibe going to be? I'm so scared. Nice. I was just doing it. I was going moment by moment in my day.
Yeah.
I had a checklist of things I needed to do. I did the things, and I was in the moment the whole day, and that felt good today. It felt nice, and that's how I want to be. I admire that about you, and I'm trying to continue to be that way. I'm trying to continue to have days like this where I'm able to calm myself down and just to be here. I'm here right now, and that's what feels so wonderful about this moment is I'm actively here, and I've been like this the whole day, and I'm just so grateful to have had this, just to have had this moment, Mm-hmm. So I'm so happy about that.
I think it comes from, humans were habitual creatures. Mm-hmm. Even with the habits we don't realize. You know what's a funny habit that I never thought about until I thought about it?
Yeah.
Is the way that I get out of the shower and dry myself off with the towel is the same exact way every single time. It's something you never think about. And then you're like, actually, I do it this way every time. Or, your morning routine. So if you put yourself in positions to be present, then it will happen more often. Like journaling or creating. To me, I think that you can miss 20 years of your life because you're focused on the wrong things. Mm-hmm. And then it's okay, so how do I be more present? Yeah. It's okay, I need to put myself in positions of dephone or I'm going to actively journal. And whenever you write down, you're going to journal, maybe you have a couple pages are this is not that good. But then you start to get into it. Then you're oh, now I'm flowing.
Start finding something.
And then you do that every day, and then you get into that flow quicker.
Yeah.
Or whenever you're creating or acting or working out, at first it sucks, and then you get into it and you're no, I actually love this. I need this.
Heavy on the working out because I'm still trying to love it. I like it. I moved to the word. I don't love it yet. I'm trying to I'm trying to hang on. I had a really hard workout today because I was just like, I just didn't want to. I'm like, I really don't want to. And then I was in the gym at my apartment, and it's like tiny. So I like to go whenever, like at a weird time, so it's like empty. Somebody walked in. I'm like, dog, get out. This is my gym. Get out. And so, yeah, I definitely want to think about this more. I'm gonna definitely keep this moment in our with me in the future. I wanted to talk about art a little bit, and I wanted us to also grab it. I wanted us also to draw.
Oh yeah, yeah. Let's do it.
So there's your little sheet.
Amazing.
And we'll share the crayons because I don't know a lot about art stuff, so I was gonna kind of let you take over this section in a way because I don't want to ask those stereotypical questions. So I'm gonna present it to you, and I'll find questions as we go because I don't know a lot about art. I know my brother likes to draw, and I know that's fun for him. So I'm very curious on art. When did you start? The full story, everything. You give it to me. And then also tell me more about you and like this painting on the levee and you painting out in the middle of New York. Like, how is this? Is there anxiety with that? Like, tell me all about that. So, yeah.
Okay. First rule is that you can't mess up.
Yeah.
So I like to draw because I can come to whether I had a great day, whether I had a bad day, any day at all.
Yeah.
It's just a place for me to be present.
Yeah.
For me to, this right here is a time capsule.
Yeah.
It's a journal entry. Like the Egyptians used hieroglyphics.
Yeah.
This is a time capsule of this moment right now.
Yeah.
Right here, the energy that we're creating it is going to be pure and authentic to this moment. Like if Michael Jackson recorded any of the songs that he made in the 80s, in the early 2000s, different place in his life, different energy, different time, the studio, the guy that he talked to beforehand, what he had for lunch, all of that makes that authentic to that time and that moment. It's a time capsule.
Yeah.
And so that's what art is for me.
Yeah.
Of any kind. You can't mess up, and it's just about enjoying the moment, man.
So when you feel inspired to draw something or paint something, is there something that's like actively like, is there a moment where you're like you've seen a dog with a white spot and you're like, oh, I gotta go. Like I just got something. Is that how it kind of like starts rolling, or is it just like you kind of sit down and you look at the blank canvas and you're like, okay, like how does that work for you?
Well, in school, it was kind of how I'd process information. Some people need a fidget spinner. This is kind of like my fidget spinner. It's like I would do this while I process information. I used to get in trouble for drawing in class all the time, but this is really how I absorb. And I look at this like hieroglyphics. Like I can look at my old art or maybe not old, but like the art I did a while back and be like, oh man, I know exactly what you were thinking.
Yeah.
I know where you were in your life. I see the way that you drew your loop-de-loop like this. Or I see the way that what you were trying to understand with depth and dimension. I see where you were in that journey. It's
I guess the emotion of it, because like you just drew a loop-de-loop. You're in a good, jolly mood. Like maybe if you were feeling down, you wouldn't have done the loop-de-loop. You would have done a straight line. So yeah.
And also experimenting with the different sides of the brain is so intriguing to me. So like your right hand, they say uses your left side of the brain, and then your left hand uses your right side of the brain. So I like to use both hands and we'll get a completely different relationship out of it.
Yeah.
So like if I use my right hand, I often draw more squares.
Yeah.
Whenever I use my left hand, I never really know what I'm going to draw, and it's kind of more like, oh, we're just flowing.
Yeah.
And so whatever that creates is like, oh, cool, here we are.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. And so what made you want to go on the levee to paint? Where did that come from? Because I was very, very curious about it. Or is it just like, is that you inspired? Are you inspired more out there?
Okay, so before I moved to New York, I started going to paint like, I would go to like Live After 5 a little bit, and I'd paint, or like I'd bring my paintings more than actually paint out there. And then I'd go to like Red Stick Social, and I'd paint to like the band. I noticed like, so whatever the energy is around you is like, if there's live music, that's live energy pumping through my soul, that like that energy is going to be channeled through me. And then I'm drawing the music. And then I'm vibing with that. And then in New York, it was my goal for like 3 years to host my first art show in New York City. And I finally pulled it together. I had people that helped believe in me to make it happen, and was determined, especially after I found out I'm going to be a dad. I just became a dad 4 months ago.
Congratulations.
A 4-month-old daughter. Thanks, man. And was like, how you got to do it. It's like you've been up here for a few years now, and this was whenever the first day you got here, you said you're going to do this, and it hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
So, potential. When people say you have a lot of potential, that's just talk. Like that's all. Potential is just all talk. Mm-hmm. It's execution and result that actually matters. Yeah. It's what you actually did with your time here, not what you said you were going to do but never got around to.
Yeah.
And so it's like, dude, you said you're going to do an art show. You better throw a freaking art show.
Yeah, it's time. Let's go.
And once you have a vision, once you have I love to create I have the vision for things, and I love to create the opportunity for it to come to fruition. Mm-hmm. And that's the more certain you are in an outcome, the more certain it'll happen. And so I was like, where am I in my life? I feel like I paint for hours every night, but nobody even knows I'm in New York City. What are you doing, man? Go outside and freaking paint. Yeah. And so Victoria and I, that's my partner, I got my big old painting and went outside of Grand Central Station and then started painting. You know what's the craziest thing about that?
What?
Is the very first person that came and walked up to me changed my life. Bethany Souza. She was she owned a hotel, and she was up an hour and a half in Beacon, New York, called the Factory and Duchess Hotel. And she's like, I would love for you to come paint at my hotel. And I was like, I would love to come paint at your hotel.
He said, I'll be honest, right now.
And, followed up with her a couple weeks later, trying to make it work. And she invited us, Victoria and I, to come up to the hotel, wined and dined us. I painted outside, and then she's like, can you paint one of my rooms? So I painted one of her hotel rooms. Her hotel is so cool. The whole theme of that room was Studio 54.
Oh, okay.
And so I painted one of the entire rooms like a 1980s subway in New York City, underground kind of vibe. And
that's crazy.
Then we found out that we're pregnant. And then I was like, okay, I can't live in the city anymore in the same capacity. I've got 2 mouths to feed now, 2 more. And we ended up living at her hotel. She ended up inviting me to be an artist resident at her hotel. And so the thing I took away from that, one, if you put yourself out there, what is success?
Yeah.
Success happens when opportunity meets preparation. What is luck? Luck is whenever you put yourself in a position where it's it'd be unreasonable for you not to succeed if you do it enough times.
Right, yeah.
And so going outside, believing in myself enough to say, I'm an artist, I'm going to paint. That's what I like to do, and I want to share it with the world. I don't want to just do it on Instagram. I want to do it in real life. Yeah. And the energy is so different from doing it inside. If you and I were doing this podcast, outside of an LSU tailgate, completely different energy.
Yeah, so that's completely different, yeah.
And so it's authentic to the story of whatever we're talking about. And so putting yourself out there in different situations, you will discover yourself because you're putting yourself around different energy to channel through you.
Okay. And then I had one more thing I wanted to ask you about before we wrap up. This is cool. I watched a few podcasts of yours. I watched a few different things. And you use it today, which was funny that you said it earlier. It's this thing you keep saying, and it's living the dream.
Yeah.
What does that mean to you? Because I've noticed it's sticking with you. It's something you keep saying. You said it when you got here. It was one of the first things you said when we started recording. So what does that mean to you? What is that? And how do you channel that as you go with your careers?
Wow, I'm so glad you asked. Living the dream is making the most of the present moment, no matter what moment it is, no matter where you are.
Yeah.
And so I adopted that in 2019 or 2018, 2019. I was going through a really hard time figuring out who I was. And I had a friend, shout out Malik Thompson. He's about to be in the UFC.
Ooh,
he's a freaking champion. Shout out Malik. He just won his fight, got a belt.
Oh, wow.
He was here, we became friends, and I was like, man, I'm having a hard time. And he's like, I want you to say this. I'm amazing. I will do amazing things, and no one can stop me. And I was like, that is so lame. Why would I say that, bro? And he's like, well, if your life is really that bad, what do you have to lose? And I was like, well, you got a good point. And so I was like, okay, I'm amazing. I'll do amazing things, and nobody can stop me. And then I learned around the same time that a positive thought cannot beat a negative thought. They just cancel each other out. A positive action can beat a negative thought. So anytime I would think negatively about myself or anything about my life, I would say, I'm amazing, I'll do amazing things, and no one can stop me. And at first you say it like you don't really believe it. You're kind of like, I'm just going through the motions. Then you say it like, yeah, you know what, I kind of feel that. Yeah. And then you start to believe it, and then you start to know it, and then you become it.
Yeah.
And so living the dream is knowing that right here in this present moment, Kyron, we have the opportunity to take full advantage of who we are, our soul, our spirit, love the moment, make the most of it, take pride in the moment, take pride in who you are, and believe in yourself. And what more could you ask for? I'm living the dream, man.
Yeah. Wow. He took us back to church, y'all. I knew he was going to take us back to church, and he took us back to church 3 times this time, but I thank you for coming today. I really enjoyed this. This is why I started doing this. I started doing this because I wanted to learn from people. I wanted to teach people. I wanted to see how people learn and what in their life, brought them to film. Or I just wanted to know more about people. That's something I talk about a lot on my podcast. It's people. I'm curious about it. I'm curious about why they wrote it like that, why they directed it like that, who wrote it, like all these things. And so really today had opened up. We didn't talk so much film. We talked about film for 15 minutes, but I enjoyed, and everything we talked about today is in some way connected to film. Yeah. It's connected in some way of how to stay motivated, how to keep going, how to succeed, and all of it is. I feel like I needed to hear this. I really did. I've been held accountable several times today through our conversations. Where you're like, especially where you're like, I'm focusing on the wrong things. I need to be focusing on writing. Or that acting class I need to sign up for. Not paying for more clothes, paying for that acting class I've been meaning to go to. Like I've been held accountable, and I know that you held my friends that are gonna watch this accountable, and other people who are gonna watch this accountable today to say, why aren't you doing it? And so I'm grateful. I really am grateful for this. Like I can't explain it. I just am so happy. I didn't think that I would get as much as I did today out of this, and I'm just so grateful. So I thank you. I'm so thankful. And I am going to keep this with me for the rest of my life. And I mean that. And when I get my Oscar, if I remember, because I've promised a lot of people this, I'll say thank you, Peyton North, because I promised 10 people, I'm like, when I'm getting my Oscar, I'm going to say your name. If I remember, because, what's her name? This lady, Nancy, at this doctor I went to, I was telling her about film stuff. She's like, okay, when you're famous, you have to thank me. I'm like, I got you. And I tell everybody that, so I'm going to try to remember, I promise you. I'm going to try to say Peyton North, or maybe we'll be connected. Maybe you'll be acting in one of my movies, and maybe you'll be the one winning the Oscar. I'm up there with you to celebrate you. So I don't know. Maybe we'll find out in the future.
Maybe so. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Also, you don't have to make that promise to me. Mm-hmm. You achieving your dream and being yourself is the best thank you I could ever ask for.
Yeah.
Just seeing you be you.
Mm-hmm. Oh, thank you. He's still preaching, bro. We're trying to end. He just keeps going. But thank you so much. Thank y'all for clocking in and watching today, y'all. It was a good episode. This was amazing. I'm really hoping that y'all took something from this. I'm hoping that you lived in the moment and got something from this. So I thank y'all. I'll see y'all. Keep holding over. I thank y'all, and see you later.